Hello, boys and girls. My name is Adugnaw Worku. They call me Adu for short. Your teacher, Karen Nelson, knows me very well. She can spell my name and she can write it and show it to you. Your teacher and I have known each other for many years. I have known her parents and her brothers also. They were missionaries in Ethiopia, and I'm from Ethiopia. So that's where we met. And ever since we met, we have been friends, very close friends. In fact, I call them her parents, my parents, and I call her a sister, and her brothers, my brothers. So I am from Ethiopia, and you may be wondering, well, where is Ethiopia exactly? Well, let's look at the map for a moment. Here is North America, here is South America and Europe and so on, and here is Africa. Ethiopia is in Africa, right here, in Northeast Africa. It's an old country, more than 3,000 years old. It has its own language, it has its own music, it has its own culture and history. Now, how big is Ethiopia? Ethiopia is as big as Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma combined. Ask your teacher to show you the map and see how big those three states are. Now, how many people live in Ethiopia? 54 million. It's the third largest country in Africa. So it's about that country, that old country and culture that I'm going to tell you and share a few things with you. Now, if you look at my T-shirt, it's an Ethiopian T-shirt, and it has a picture of a lion. The lion for Ethiopia is as the bald eagle is for the United States. It's the national symbol for Ethiopia, the lion is. Our last emperor, his name and title was Haile Selassie, King of Kings, Emperor of Ethiopia, from the tribe of Judah, and so on, elect of God, and so on, long title. So the lion is still the symbol of the national culture. Now, I already told you that our language is different. The Ethiopian language is different. Let me just give you a sample. Let me say the Lord's Prayer in Ethiopian. አባታችን ሆይ በሰማይ የምትኖር ስምህ ይቀደስ መንግስትህ ትምጣ ፈቃድህ በሰማይ እንደሆነች እንዲሁም በምድር ትሁን የዕለት እንጀራችን ስጠን ዛሬ በደላችን ይቅር በለን እኛም የበደሉንን ይቅር እንደምንል ወደ ፈተናም አታግባን ከክፉ ሁሉ አድነን እንጂ መንግስት ያንተ ናትና ኃይልም ምስጋናም ለዘላለሙ አሜን. Amen or Amen seems to be a common language in many languages. Now, let me also give you a sample of what a nursery rhyme sounds like. Nursery rhyme. Let me see here. Which one shall I choose? ናበይኝ ኢትዮጵያ ናበይኝ አገሬ እመጣልሻለሁ በለመደው እግሬ ምንም አልተመቸኝ የሰው አገር ኑሮ ልቤ ካንቺ ጋር ነው እግሬ ኑሮ ኑሮ. That's one. It means I'm homesick for Ethiopia, for my country. I want to go home. And this probably is maybe a little boy, a little girl who went out of Ethiopia for a visit. Maybe their parents were ambassadors and lived in a different place. Here's another one. አንድ ነገር አለ ብንመለከት እንስሳት ከሰው ልጅ የሚበልጡበት ከሰዎች መካከል ሰካራሞች ሞልተው እንስሳት ግን ምንም አይሰክሩም ጠጥተው. Meaning, there is at least one case where animals seem to be wiser than people. And that is, some people at least, drink and get drunk. They drink alcohol and get drunk. Animals don't drink that kind of stuff, and no animal has been seen drunk. So in that regard, animals are wiser than people, at least wiser than the people that drink. So that's another nursery rhyme. Now, we talked about the language already. Let me show you what the Ethiopian alphabet looks like. Now, this is a little bit scary for you guys. See, the English alphabet is right here, just 2 lines. In fact, 1 line. Look at that. Just 1 line and just a little bit. But look at the Ethiopian alphabet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 lines. And look at that. You know, two sides. We have actually 221 characters for your 26. Now, that's the bad news for Ethiopian children. You know, they have to learn all these squiggles. The good news is, once they learn these guys, there is no spelling problem. None. I mean, nothing like saying rough and then spelling it R-O-U-G-H. Doesn't make sense for an Ethiopian child. This one here, like this letter is hu, this letter is lu, and all you have to do to read it is say hulu, which means all. And so, many characters to recognize, but once you recognize and learn the characters, you can read immediately with no spelling problem. So that is the good news. Now, we also have our own number system. See? See, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, representing the English numbers here. So, you know, I had to learn English. And I was not very young when I learned it. I was about 16, 17 years old when I started learning English. English is a very, very difficult language, but you can learn it. It's good to learn another language. If you have an opportunity to learn Spanish or French or German or Russian or Chinese, you do it, I tell you. It's good to learn a foreign language. I have been very happy with it. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our musical instruments. Now, Ethiopia, I said, has its own history, its own culture, its own language, and so on. And music is part of that. Now, let me start with my favorite instrument, and that's the shepherd's flute. Look at that. Can anybody guess what this is made of? I have a big one, and I have a small one. Did somebody say made of bamboo? You are correct. This is a bamboo flute. This one I made myself, and this one was given to me as a gift. Now notice it has 4 holes. It has 4 holes, and we have only 5 notes in our musical arrangement. You have 8. We have only 5. So, the way to play this is put your ring finger here, then the this finger here, and same thing here. And then you have to blow it, much like you blow when you play a flute. Very tricky. Like anything else, this takes practice. Lots and lots of practice. But practice makes perfect. You perform as you practice. And here goes. Now this is, like I said, taller and bigger around. Now this little guy here is skinnier and shorter, so it will make a higher pitch. Now this is the shepherd's flute. Once upon a time, when I was a small boy, I was a shepherd. I looked after my parents' goats and sheep and cows and donkeys and mules all day. And so I entertained myself playing these instruments. The shepherd's best friend. Okay? Now, I have another instrument. This one here is called Kerar. Now you have to roll your R here. Kerar. It has 6 strings, and you can strum with a strummer, or you can play with your fingers. And you just give you a sample song. Excuse me. This is the Kerar, and this is a very popular instrument. You can put an amplifier in it now. Has become a modern instrument, but an old instrument otherwise. Probably David played this. This is like a little harp. This is the sound box for it. The tuning pegs, of course. There is another instrument which has only one string, and I don't have that, and a flute that's much longer than this, and I don't have that. Now, what I do have is a drum. It's a nice little drum. This drum can be big. You can make it much bigger. You can make it a little smaller, not much smaller. And the inside is wood, and then it's covered with cow hide. You can see the hair here already still in there. And you can use this for social occasions, like when you're having just a party, or you can have it for a religious program. For a social occasion, you know, to clap with it like this. That's how you play it. Or you can play it or you can play it like that. Now, in a church situation, it's kind of slower, and they usually play it with both hands. And then now this is called kavaro. Kavaro. And you can actually put it over your head and stand up and play it too. You hold it like that, and or you can play it. The Ethiopian priests usually play it like this, except theirs is much bigger, and so it would make a lot of noise. Now, I have some more goodies to show. I have a basket. Now, can you believe that this was made by hand? The inside is grass, the outside is colored thread. And they start right here, and they just go around and around and around, and bigger and bigger and bigger, and this is actually the lid. See? That's the lid. And now this guy here starts right here. You know, it starts here and just goes like this. Just like this. All the way out and all the way. That's the grass. It's not covered with colored thread. So what do we use this for? This could be bigger or smaller. You could put a fruit. This can be a fruit basket, or you can put other valuables. Sometimes you put food in it, like bread. This is normally a bread basket or a fruit basket, and it takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill to make these things, and this is made by hand. And the interesting thing is, people who make these don't follow a design. It's all in their head. Their parents taught them, and their parents were taught by their own parents in turn. And so this has been passed on from one generation to another. Beautiful. Okay? Now this one is called agelgel. Agelgel, which means something that serves well. Agelgel. Okay, now, the other two things we have to wait for a demonstration. This is a stock whip. Now, only boys play this, at least in Ethiopia. And it is a form of entertainment as well as an instrument to keep the cows and the goats and the oxen and so on straight. And it's long. Look at that. This is a long dude. And if you make a mistake and hit yourself, it can hurt. So you have to be very careful. Did I make this? No, I didn't, but I used to make them. This was another gift that was given to me. Now, I have also something else, and that is a sling. Now, an Ethiopian shepherd will take a whip, a stick, and a sling. Why do they do that? Oh, you know, there are foxes and hyenas, and sometimes vultures, which actually swoop down and attack little baby goats and sheep. So you use these things. And like anything else, you get used to this and you get good at it. You can actually aim and hit pretty straight. You put the rock here and you swing it around and around. We'll demonstrate not with the rock, but at least how you swing it outside. And the same is true of this guy. But before we go out and demonstrate this, and we will finish with that, I want to show you some Ethiopian games. What do Ethiopian children play? Excuse me. See, Ethiopian children, especially out in the rural areas, the city children have, you know, shops like here. They can go to the shop and buy video games or whatever, but not the children out in the countryside. They make their own games and entertain themselves, like the shepherd flute, the whip, the sling, and so on. So I want to show you 3 Ethiopian children games. One of them is kind of a game of coordinated clapping with a partner. Now, one of my sons, Adugnaw Worku, we call him Tad for short, is going to help me with that one. And the game is over when one of them messes up, you know, because you can start slow and then it goes faster and faster. Here goes. Come on, Tado. I'll be over here, you be over there. And let's face each other here. And we clap to 3. And, you know, you can learn this and play it with your friend. So watch very carefully. Are you ready? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then it gets faster. And then whoever messes up loses the game. Now let's do it slowly, because I think you need to learn this, and you may have your own versions of this game. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Both hands. Clap, one hand. Clap, the other hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's too fast. Okay, so that's one. Okay, Tad, thank you very much. Now, my other son, Adugnaw Worku, will play another game with me. It's actually 2 games, but we will combine those 2 games into one. I have marbles. Normally, in Ethiopia, out in rural Ethiopia, we would have nice, smooth, round rocks. because we wouldn't have marbles over there. But here I have chosen to play with marbles. So Daniel, come here, please. Now, we're going to start with, let me see, let me put this over here so we can have space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you have to be honest with this game. So each person should have the same number, the same amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this game is called Centos, which means how many? Centos. What we're going to do is that we would do this and then ask the other person to guess how many I have in this hand. The choices are 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 0. So from 0 to 5 are the options you have to choose. So it's quite a mind-reading game. But before we start playing this Centos, we have to decide who starts first, because whoever starts has an advantage. And to do that, we have a little game called Shuka. Do you get that? Shuka. You can spell it like it sounds. Shuka. Now, the options are a spear, a sword, and a shield. Now, a spear wins over a sword, but a shield wins over a spear. A sword wins over a shield, and those are the options. And a spear over, yeah, I have already said that. So, you know, we have to fold our hand like this, and he has to do that, and then we have to rub like this, and then pull back instantly, and then do one of the three options, either this or this or this. Okay? You may have your own versions of this, but this is the Ethiopian version. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that wasn't fair. You're supposed to do it, you know, you have to pull and do it.
Okay.
Because if a person doesn't do that, then it becomes unfair. See, I won. Mwah. Now, he had a shield, I had a sword. And the sword can cut the shield, so I won. I won again. Oh, no, I lost. See, he got... so that's how we would start. So do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. Now I have 5 of these guys, and I have 6 options. In this hand, I would have either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or nothing. So every time he guesses wrong, he has to give me 1 marble. And if he runs out, then I win the game. Okay? Now, Centos. Sostos. He said 3, but I have only 2, so I get 1 of his marbles. Centos.
Andos.
Oh, Sostos. He said 1, and I had 3. Centos.
Bados.
Oh, Arato. I have 4. He said nothing, but I had, let me see here. Centos.
Amistos.
Oh, no. I had 5 of them and he got them. Oh, I lost 5 of them at the time. Badush. Oh, I said nothing, but he has 2 of them. So you got the idea. 1 more and we'll move on. I want to get this one. This is the last one. Badush. Ah! All right. Okay, thank you, Danny. Okay, that's the end of this part of the game. You can play that. You can play this game here to see who wins. You can play this, and you can play the marble games, the guessing game called Centos. This is called Shuka. This one is Centos, and then this one, the clapping, is called Chivchaba. Chivchaba. Now, I have saved the best to the last. So we'll go outside, and I will demonstrate the whip, the stock whip. So let's go outside, shall we? Let me demonstrate the sling first. There's this hole here at the end of the sling, and you put your pinky in there. The reason is that when you swing and let it go, the sling doesn't go with the rock. You know, it stays with you. So you put your rock right here, and then you put this this over here, and you swing it this way, like David did, you know, in the Bible in the old days, and then you kind of and then you let it go like that. And like anything else, some people are better at it than others. Put a rock here, and then you swing and swing and swing, and you aim, you know, the direction you want it to go, and you say, "Zoom." Now, with this guy here, the stock whip, you have to be very careful. See how long it is? And it starts big, and it goes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and right at the end, it has this fluffy end here. And that's what snaps. And the reason it snaps is you do it so fast that it breaks the sound barrier. Now here goes. This is demonstration time, and this will be the end of our show. Now, there you go, a big one coming. Like a shotgun. Other hand now. Look at that. And if it is wet, it doesn't like to be wet. So you do it in the air. You don't drag it. And you hold it like this. See? Do like this, and you hold it. You don't drag it. You don't drag it on the ground. You just swing. And you swing again. And on the other side. Now, what do we call this? We call it giraffe.